Hello everyone, how are you all doing today? Another beautiful day. As you can see, I'm about to go somewhere, drive to somewhere, so I thought let me just do a quick video before I jump into the car. I don't want to waste this sunshine. I'm excited when we have this kind of sunshine here in the UK, so I don't want to waste it. Last time in my videos I was talking to us about some of the things I was shocked about when I arrived UK, Edinburgh to be precise, in Scotland in the 80s. I shared some of them in my last video and I want to continue sharing because things have moved on a lot. Things have changed a lot since then. The next thing that I was shocked about was somebody saying, oh, it's a shame. Oh, what a shame. For example, if you are hurting or something happened to you, because they don't say sorry here. Remember, you only say sorry when you are the cause of the problem. Instead, they will say something like, oh, what a shame. And I find that really difficult to understand in those days. What do you mean by what a shame? But that's how they say things. Another thing that I really found difficult to understand is telling me, oh, don't be silly. When they want to do something for you or they do something for you and you are like, oh, are you sure? Is that okay? They say, oh, don't be silly. Initially I'm like, and the person that will be telling you this, especially when it's a younger person saying this to you, because a child to you can even use such language to you and say, oh, don't be silly. And then on top of calling you by your first name when they are younger than your own children, then they're also telling you don't be silly on top of it. So to them, it's just one of the things they say. It doesn't mean that they are being rude to you or whatever, but don't be silly. They're not saying you are silly, they say don't be silly. And but whichever way, however way it is said, is something that I found difficult to understand. It was very difficult to me. It was very difficult for me to understand it at that time, but now it's one of those things and I don't really worry so much about that. The next thing is, yes, people mind their business, but when something happens in your neighborhood, like I'm walking around now, people are watching. If anything happens, they say, oh yeah, we saw her with her camera, so and so day, so and so time. They will give the precise location and what you were doing and where they saw you. Everybody will give that kind of information and you think, I don't know my neighbors, they don't know me, but trust me, they actually know and they see and know everything. So you just have to be very mindful of that and know that whatever happens, they are watching and people will give the information when it becomes necessary. Another thing is your faith, the fact that you don't discuss that freely, even as far back as the 80s. I know somebody who, because is that something we do normally back home, you want to pray for somebody, especially somebody who is unwell, in hospital. So this person, a nurse, tried to pray with a lady who was not well and was about to go in for surgery. Normally we'll pray with the person, so she forgot where she was and she decided to pray for the person. Again, you did not even ask the person. That's another thing. Because here, you may do that if the person requests, or if you ask and they say, oh yeah, I don't mind, please do. Then you can do that. But without request and without you seeking their permission, you want to pray for them. No, you don't do that. Everybody, they all have their own roles to play here. There's chaplain, there's people that like that. So you don't just pray for somebody just like that. So it's very important to always ask questions and know where you are before you start doing what you normally do back where you come from into a different place. So it's very important that you don't pray for anybody or with anybody unless you seek their permission or unless they request. Another thing that was happening before that wasn't happening, is no longer happening now, is that in those days shops are closed on Sundays. Most shops are closed on Sundays, but Now every shop more or less is open. So when you want to buy anything or when you need anything, you just have to get those things in advance. Like on Saturday, you just have to buy whatever you need to buy. Otherwise, on Sundays, you don't see any shop open, so you won't get anything. So that was something that was happening at the time that is no longer happening now. At the moment, most shops are open on Sundays. It's just Sundays here is now business as usual. But in those days, no. Sundays, shops are not open. So that's another thing that have changed over the years. And another thing I've noticed here as well is that everybody is important. It's not as you go to an office, you have somebody that does the cleaning, somebody that does the cooking, or whatever. Everybody is valued and their roles are valued. You don't look down on anybody and say, oh, he's only a cleaner, or he's only this, or he's only this. There's nothing only here. You actually value and respect everyone, no matter what they do, because in any place you are, if there's no cleaner, there's no cook, there's no admin staff or whatever, the job cannot be done. So everybody have got their own roles and everybody's role is respected no matter what. You may even see somebody in a much lower position marrying somebody in a very high position, and that person that in a very high position might be the woman, and the man they're marrying to will be in a lower, much lower position, and they live very well. Something like that will not happen where I come from anyway, in Nigeria. Imagine somebody, a very junior staff, marrying a lady who is like a boss in the office. No, because it will just not work most of the time anyway. I don't know, unless things have changed now. But what I'm trying to say here is everybody is respected and valued. And yeah, so you don't say, oh, because I'm this, you have to talk down on people or disrespect them. If they report you, it's a big issue. So we have to make sure that when you come over here, just remember that it's not what it used to be where you come from, that you just look down on people. No. And just understand some of the languages. Also watch your own language, watch what you say, and very, very important. But I'm going to leave you now. But remember, when somebody says, don't be silly, or when somebody says, what a shame, you don't take it too personal. It's the way they talk here sometimes, and you just have to gradually get used to it. Okay, I'll come up with more later, because things like house prices when we arrived in the 80s and things and such like, I'm going to come up with some of those things once as well, to tell you what things used to be like in those days. So wait for more of the things that used to happen in the UK many years ago compared to now. Okay then, goodbye and God bless.